Welcome back. This is a short review on a couple new tools I purchased for my Rolex bracelet. The first is the screwdriver, which is the 1.6 OEM cutout screwdriver for Panerai, and I got this from panatime.com for about $19. The benefit of this one is that it fits the screws on the Rolex bracelet, but it also has a blunted tip and not a sharp wedge shaped tip at the end, so it can get a better grip in the groove and is less likely to strip the screw head. So I think it's safer to use on a Rolex bracelet. Next is the Bergeon 7825 tweezer tool to remove the bracelet. This is actually very similar to the tool that Rolex uses. It's an all-metal construction with very sharp tips at the end. So you can use one of these tools to remove the bracelet, or you can use a regular spring bar tool, which I find is fairly difficult to use. It has a forked tip at the end, so you have to insert it into the small space where the spring bar is exposed and remove one side at a time. But with the tweezer tool, you can insert both at the same time and remove the bracelet at once. It has a sharp tip and flared out edges at the tip, which I think helps get into the tight space. It is fairly expensive, around $160, but I wanted to see if this works any better than the spring bar tool. So I'll try to use this for the first time and attempt to remove the bracelet from my Submariner date and replace it with a leather strap. Let's see how I do with removing the bracelet. I'm not very experienced with this at all. I've only done it a few times using a regular spring bar tool, but I wanted to try using this Bergeon tool to see if it was any easier. The first side is always the hardest because the clasp obscures your view and it's hard to get a good grip on the watch case. It's actually best if you tape up the watch case to prevent scratching, since it's very easy to scratch the watch case with this tool. I did get some hairline scratches, but they're not very noticeable. Even with this tool, you have to use a good amount of pressure to get a good grip on the spring bar and get the tips into the divot to release the spring bar. It took me a few minutes, but I finally got the first part of the bracelet off. Moving on to the next side, it's a much better view and it's easier to work with the clasp out of the way. So I was able to get this side off a little bit easier and a little bit quicker. There it is with the bracelet off. So I can see with the bracelet off that the end of the bracelet and the watch head have some dirt and grime. So this will give me a chance to clean that up. Now attaching the leather strap, I made sure the ends lined up and inserted one end of the spring bar in the spring bar hole and used the regular spring bar tool to squeeze in the other end. This is another time where you have to be careful about scratching the watch head. I forgot where I purchased this watch strap, but there seems to be a little bit of extra space on either side. So I think it might be a 19 millimeter instead of a 20 millimeter, but I still think it fits pretty well. Here's the back of the case. I did get some hairline scratches near the lugs, but it's not very noticeable on the pictures. I think it's worth having these tools if you like to wear different straps on your watch. It does take some time and effort to change it out, but it's easier than going to the authorized dealer and having to ask them to do it, especially if you're not located close to one. So I'll keep this on the leather strap for a few days and see how I like it. And thanks for watching.